What's up, guys? Welcome back to Barfly FreePour. Today we've got kind of a little different of an episode that we're going to try doing. There's so many people that ask me questions in the comments, and I don't have time to type out very long answers. And I think the thing that YouTube does really badly is interaction with the audience. You know, like you have the community tab, but not that many people look at our community tab. We don't get a lot of engagement there or anything. And so I thought maybe just doing like an update video / question answer video / reaction video to certain comments that I get would be kind of a fun thing to do. Then we could keep you guys up on current events. We can answer questions that are kind of long and drawn out. Although the ones that I picked, I thought I picked really good ones today. And then I was like, wait a minute. I just looked at them and I was like, oh, okay, these are, well, I mean, they're good, but you know. And then Marius is going to have a lot of interaction, I think, in this. He's going to have a lot of opinions. And yeah, so let's get into it, right? All right, so I'm going to just pull out my phone. I set aside some comments. The first one is by Ricard Moberg. And he's a member, actually. And he says, can honey really be savory? Been struggling to translate savory for some time. There's no Swedish word for it. So I don't know the dictionary definition of the word savory, although I kind of feel it's just one of those things that we kind of know what it is, right? So, but I don't think I've ever been asked to sort of define it.
Apparently not.
I will say this though, honey is sweet, and I think that we can all agree that it's sweet. But if you set aside the fact that honey is sweet, then there are other flavor profiles that we're trying to decipher, because depending on what the bees are pollinating, the honey is going to be different. So the reason why I think honey is such a beautiful ingredient, such an interesting thing to work with, is that it changes from region to region, right? So, you know, wildflower honey from California is not going to be the same as clover honey from Boston. It's not going to be the same as mango honey, or I don't know, whatever they've been pollinating. Literally, you can make any type of honey as long as the plant has flowers that the bees will pollinate. So I kind of think that some honeys, if you just already assume that we all know that it's sweet, then there can be a savoriness to it. So for instance, like I always say that honey is a little bit more savory sweet on our Barfly channel as opposed to sugar, because sugar is super sharp. That being said, I think if you measure the bricks in a refractometer to figure out how sweet it is, I think honey actually is sweeter than sugar. But sugar has a really sharp flavor to it, whereas honey has a very, I think, more subtle flavor to it. And it's also got a more natural sort of feel to it. It's less sharp. And then, I mean, sugar is natural, but at the same time, the sugar that we use the white sugar is refined sugar, right? It's not its most natural state. It's been manipulated.
So the dictionary definition of savory is of foods belonging to the category that is salty or spicy rather than sweet. So just definition-wise, no, honey cannot be savory. But I mean, it's got this more like...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. But then again, it's like, I don't want to like defend my, you know, sort of, I don't know. I don't know. Here's the thing. I call it like savory sweet. Yeah. Because I lack a word to use to describe what I'm tasting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, savory, the dictionary definition of savory, honey is not that because it's sweet. But what I'm trying to do is sort of like explain, or like, I'm trying to explain the other natural elements in there that make honey kind of more subtle than sugar and different in that way.
There's another definition. It says, pleasing to the sense of taste and having an agreeable, pungent taste.
So it can be savory. Ha-ha, yes. By that definition, it can be savory.
So
there it is.
Just pick the dictionary.
And I think I answered that question. I don't think we have to go on and on anymore.
The question is, yes and no.
Well, it's not savory in the sense that it's not going to taste like chicken noodle soup, which is savory. But it can be savory in that it is pleasing to the. So it's not a terrible way of describing something.
Yeah.
By one definition, and it is by another, I guess. All right, I can live with that.
Back to square one.
Back to square one. You learned nothing. All right. Hi, Leandro. Okay, sorry. Let's actually introduce this person. So this is from Topaz Phoenix. And then he's got a picture of a phoenix in his I don't know, picture spot. What do you call that? A little picture spot?
Profile picture?
Yeah, his profile picture. All right. Hi, Leandro. I'm just putting together a home bar and I'm wondering about glassware. This is something we should be doing an episode on. Marius is gonna tisk me because we've been talking about it for a long time. When I go to the shop for different glasses, there are many different sizes for each type of glass, many of which I feel are probably too big for the drinks meant to go in them. Do you have a resource with general sizes of glassware you use? Now, this is a big opinion thing because it depends on the maker of the cocktail and what the volume of the cocktail is going to be. Generally, I should be making a video on this. We will definitely make a video on this. Probably this comment is going to put a fire under our butts to do that. But I will tell you right now, just verbally, what I just have on hand and what I use most often. So you're going to want to have a 5.5 ounce coupe and you want to have a 6 ounce coupe. I know that seems like different sizes that are minute, but really when it comes to cocktails, there are some cocktails that are a little bit bigger than others, and with the dilution that you add from shaking or stirring, they're going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. So I have one set of 4 6-ounce coupes and I have a set of 5.5 ounce coupes. I actually have a set of mini coupes that are like 4 ounces made for like snackeries and stuff and like small volume drinks. Then you're going to want to have a double old-fashioned glass. I like to have a 10-ounce one and like a 13-ounce one. So the big ones that I usually use with the heavy base are going to be about 13 ounces. Then I have a 10-ounce one for drinks that are on the rocks, like not on a big rock necessarily, like when I do a Gold Rush or something like that. I do a 12-ounce highball. That's pretty much what you want to have. If you want to do like fizzes, right, where you're adding soda water, I like to use a 10-ounce highball. You just get better foam and you're actually adding a little bit less soda water. What else? I don't know. What else we use, Marius? Let's open up the cabinet. Oh, definitely Nick and Nora's. So your 5-ounce, you don't necessarily have to have a 5-ounce coupe. If you wanted to, you could have a 6-ounce coupe and then a 5-ounce Nick and Nora glass. And you can kind of, but this is where preference kind of comes in. But I like to have Nick and Nora glasses on hand. I don't know what other glassware, what's like the main glasswares? We got the rocks, we got the highball.
I guess it also depends on what you drink. Do you drink a lot of tiki stuff? Then you want like tiki glasses.
That's true. And if you want tiki glasses, you got to be very big volume glasses. So you want to have like a 16-ounce Pilsner glass, a 14-ounce highball glass, because usually tiki drinks tend to be a little bit higher in volume. Although I will say that the modern tiki revival has kind of cut those specs down. But if you're doing classic tiki drinks, a lot of them are very big drinks, like lots of juices and stuff in them. So
a hurricane glass and that kind of
yeah, so you want to have a hurricane glass, you want to have a Pilsner glass.
And you may not want a margarita glass or
well, a lot of people like
glass.
to, like for instance, I prefer my margarita on the rocks. So I like to have a rocks glass. So that's what I use for my margarita. Some people like to put a margarita in a coupe. And then those margarita glasses that are kind of shaped like that are they're kind of frozen margarita glasses, I guess, which you could have. That's fine. If you want to be making some frozen margaritas, that's great. I don't like to have those. I don't have those glasses. I don't really like them very much, but to each your own. But I would say definitely must have 13-ounce old-fashioned glass, a 10-ounce old-fashioned glass, a 5-ounce Nick and Nora glass, a 6-ounce coupe, at least a 12-ounce. If you're going to do one highball, do a 12-ounce highball. And then, if you're doing tiki drinks, you should definitely think of some of the higher volume cocktail glasses. And that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
Everything else is just preference after that. This one was on Barfly FreePour. It's where the Bartesian, it was on our Bartesian Will This Replace Me Volume 2. And it's from a guy named Flash Nuka.
Okay.
Or Flash Nuka. Flash Nuka. He says, I caught a whiff of elitist Williamsburg bartender who calls himself an alchemist vibes straight away. Will a machine replace an actual bartender? Of course not. Will it make solid drinks and reduce the waste and overall cost of having all these perishable ingredients lying around and also not spit out a pre-made buzzball drink? Of course it will. Actually, I would argue that it does spit out a pre-made buzzball drink, which is fine, but whatever. Of course it will. Of course it will. I've had 4 drinks with the Bartesian since I got it over the weekend and I love it. I'm not trying to razzle-dazzle guests. I just want to have a good drink without the hassle. Mission accomplished. Okay. let's talk about the Bartesian video. And let me tell you a little bit of behind the scenes stuff about why that video happened the way it did. I admit, I was a little bit hard on the Bartesian. I am still very surprised that most people don't really get that the "will this replace me" with 4 question marks at the end of it. They just don't get that that is a clickbait title that is meant to get people to click on the video. Do I actually think that a home machine is going to replace a bartender? Of course I don't. Machines can't, even if you had the best, most wonderful robot, all right, making your cocktails,
Right.
you're still not going to get that across the bar banter. And what you're going to do is you're going to sit in a room like the Jetsons, in a cold atmosphere, all right, like the one that they have in Vegas, if you haven't seen that Marius, because Marius is already like, oh, I don't know, I think a robot can do a better job.
Are we doing a theoretical, like, fantasy thing?
No, I'm just saying, no, there is a robot in Vegas,
No,
right, that is an arm that creates cocktails. And when you go there, you have no bartender to talk to, is all I'm saying, okay? You just sit there, and I guess with your friends, it's in a kind of space age environment, probably because they wanted to make it look modern. But to me, that's the best part of going to the bar, is the interaction with not only other customers, but also the bartender, and learning something new and kind of having a fun time. I think that would be lacking with a robot. So of course, I don't think that a robot is going to replace a human being.
But eventually, there will be robots that you can interact with that talk just like a human.
There are robots now that you can interact with.
Yeah,
they're very bad.
Yeah,
they're very bad.
In not so many years from now, there will be.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they really figured out AI to that point that it could replace a human being, Marius, then we've got, then we're talking about like, Attack of the Machines and stuff, and then we've got bigger problems and a lot more. I mean, we already covered this in the DrinksWorks,
which I prefer of the 2 machines anyway.
Yes, I prefer the DrinksWorks actually too. I don't like the whole fact that you have to like empty out a whole bottle into these things. It's really a clunky system. That being said, I was a little bit hard on the Bartesian, and this is why. Because we shot the video, and that video that we shot got messed up, and so we had to shoot it again. So I already knew what was going on the second time, and I already knew that I hated it. And I guess I was trying to pretend like I was doing it for the first time, but really the fact that I hate it just came out.
Right.
So
yeah, you're really grumpy in that one.
Yeah, I was a bit grumpy. That's true. I don't know why though. I mean, honestly, I don't know why. I wasn't really trying to be that hard on it. When people started getting really protective of the Bartesian and starting to kind of like let me know that I really upset them, I was really surprised, because I really didn't think at first. I mean, having done it, I didn't really think that I had been so terrible on it. When I watched the video back, I was like, oh, I was a little bit hard on the Bartesian maybe. Here's the thing. If you like doing Bartesian type stuff and you just want to push a button and not have to deal with it and have a cocktail,
buy the DrinkWorks.
Go ahead and do it. Yeah, I like the DrinkWorks better. I think that it's a better system personally, and it's much better looking. The cocktails were a little bit better. I think it still has its problems. I still want to whip up my own cocktails. I don't really need a machine to do that, but I don't know. I think it's kind of fun to sort of like test out all this tech, right, and see what the future holds, or see what people are trying to do. So I don't know. I guess that's enough about the Bartesian. All right. This question is in reference to the Screwball whiskey video that we did. The first one. Hi, Leandro. I've been following your channel since the beginning, and I really like everything you do. Hey, thanks, man. Oh, this is from Philip Alstrom. How do you pronounce an O with 2 umlaut, like an umlaut on top of it? Alstrom? Alstrom? Okay. Philip Alstrom. Recently, when I saw your PB&J sour video, I was very interested in the PB whiskey, but since I live in Sweden, it is kind of hard to get a hold of many of the spirits you use. Sometimes it works. Anyway, regarding the PB whiskey, do you think you could create your own peanut butter whiskey by infusing whiskey with peanut butter for a day or 2 and then fine strain it or something, or is it far-fetched? Please continue with your great work, and I will continue making cocktails inspired by you. Looking forward to hear from you. Best regards, Philip. Okay, yes, you can make peanut butter whiskey, absolutely. So for those of you that cannot get a peanut butter whiskey or a peanut butter liqueur, you can definitely make your own peanut butter whiskey, but there is a little bit of a process to it. So what you do is you take a 16-ounce jar of peanut butter and you spread it in a very thin layer on a cookie pan. You want to make sure that the cookie pan has, they're kind of shallow, but if you can find one with a little bit higher of a lip, then that's gonna behoove you to do that. And then what you do is you take a 750 milliliter bottle of whiskey. Bourbon works really well, but you could do rye or any other whiskey you want. And then you drop it on and you basically what you're doing is just dropping the whiskey onto the peanut butter, and then you wrap it up with some saran wrap and you let it sit at room temperature for 24 hours at least. Then you strain it through a coffee filter and you have your peanut butter whiskey. Now I know, Marius, right now I can see that you're like, why are you putting this on a cookie pan and not in a bottle or in some other clean container? And the reason why is because peanut butter is so viscous that if you put it inside a jar, it would just sit on the bottom, right? Even if you heat peanut butter up, you can't heat it up to the point where it's such a liquid that it will combine with the whiskey. So really what you want is as much surface area of whiskey to touch the peanut butter as possible for the best possible infusion. That's why you would do that. So you could put it in a jar, you will get an infusion, and the oil from the peanuts will definitely go into the whiskey, and you're basically doing a fat wash is what you're doing. But the thing is that you won't get as good a peanut butter flavor. You want to make sure that as much surface area of whiskey is touching as much peanut butter as possible. And that's why we do it in a big pan.
Can you blend it?
Honestly, I think that if you blend it, you'll have a very hard time separating it from the whiskey. So for instance, even if you blend something like, I don't know if it was Eric. I think pretty recently Eric was trying to do a coconut fat wash, and he took a stick blender and he blended it and then couldn't separate the coconut oil from the gin or whatever he was doing, or rum, or whatever he was doing, because the blending just incorporates it too much. I think maybe even it almost, like, I want to say that a blender can emulsify, like act as an emulsifier and really combine something, but it was very difficult for him to separate the oil. Even after freezing it, it still would be cloudy and it wouldn't. So I think that blending it would be kind of a mess. I don't know if you could do that.
But
I haven't tried it though, so I'm not saying you definitely can.
But couldn't you also just fat wash it with peanut oil?
You could fat wash it with peanut oil, but peanut oil isn't as flavorful as the peanut butter itself. And so you will get a peanut butter, but it would be very light peanut butter flavor.
Right, and just add more oil then?
Yeah, I mean, you could. I'm not saying that that's not going to work. You could, but peanut butter oil, if you tasted peanut butter oil as opposed to peanut butter, I mean, maybe we should do a test. Maybe we should do peanut butter fat wash
versus,
or like oil,
right?
Like we could even we could get a very natural peanut butter that's got oil sitting on the top, and we can just do a little bit, and then we can do the pan technique and see which one is better. Because honestly, I don't know which one is better, but I'm going to say that the pan technique is probably going to give you a better result. I think it's just logically it seems like it's going to get a better result, but I don't know that for a fact.
Right.
That's just, the pan technique is what I was taught to do, and it seems pretty sensible to me and logical. Maybe there's some scientist who's going to weigh in on the comments and say like, well, you could do this, or you could do that, or you're wrong, or whatever, which happens quite a bit, and that's fine. I don't mind being wrong. That's good. That's how you learn.
Right.
So that's the peanut butter question. All right. Well, I hope that was somewhat informative. I think that as I go, I will start hip pocketing questions that are interesting or require long answers for you guys. I know Marius was looking at me like, those were the questions? I don't know. I thought they were pretty good questions, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get more interesting questions now when we shot this video. I don't know if this is something that you guys like. If you guys want to say that you liked it or you didn't like it, you can comment below. That's how we gauge what's kind of fun for you guys. I don't know. I kind of did this for myself, but at the same time, there's no point in doing it if you guys aren't getting anything out of it. So I'll see you guys on another time, and I'll see you in the comments. Leandro out.